The global house price crash is here. Brace yourself. In Sweden, the property market has crashed. It's the same story in Australia, Denmark, New Zealand, and a host of other countries. So what about the UK? That's exactly what we're going to discuss in this video today. So hang around if you want to find out how the UK is doing in comparison to the rest of the world. But before we look at all the other markets around the world, why is this happening? There's one main reason that's driving this. There's lots of other little reasons around what's driving this. But there's one main reason. That's inflation at the moment. The global economy is suffering high inflation, which is putting a pressure on the whole economy, not just the housing market. Why are we in such an inflationary times? Well, during COVID, even before COVID, but during COVID, every country in the world pretty much opened the printing presses and produced lots of money. They called it quantitative easing, and they pushed a lot of money into the economy, which temporarily inflated it, which makes inflation go up. Now the banks and central banks around the world are trying to pull that down, and the lever to pull that down is by putting up interest rates to stop people spending so much, making things overinflate. So it just leaves the question in most people's head, I'm guessing, that is now the time to buy. Whether you're a homeowner or whether you are looking to invest in property, should you be buying property now? If you want the answer to that, make sure you watch this video. I'm not sure what side that's on. And put in the comments, are you buying now? Are you thinking of buying now? That video will also be in the description if you want to watch the rest of this, but if you want to jump across now to that to see if now's the right time, I've just released a video on that. But I tell you what is the right time to do at this precise moment is hit that like button. Please, it really does help the algorithms. It really helps this channel. If you get value from this, please do that. So let's have a look at the countries that are struggling. So Sweden have dropped 15%, Denmark have dropped 10%, we've got Austria dropped 7.9%, we've got New Zealand dropped 20%, we've got Canada dropped 15%. Not every country has experienced this though, so France have held pretty strong, but they are predicting it's going to drop between 7 and 10% on 2023. Germany also held firm, although the Deutsche Bank microeconomist analyst has predicted a 25% drop. US has largely held despite 33% crash in the tech sector in San Francisco. But as I said earlier on, this is definitely a global thing. This is hitting worldwide. So you've got price falls in countries as diverse as Colombia, Bulgaria, Hungary, Norway, Indonesia, Finland, Italy, Korea, Chile, South Africa, China, India and Saudi Arabia. So the big question is, what about the UK? How is the UK performing? I think you might be pretty shocked from these results. So in February, and don't get me wrong, every platform will release different slight data. Some of you remember the data from property has a lag to go through the land registry, but Halifax and Nationwide's data is pretty good because they're giving out mortgages at the moment, so they can see that on the ground. And Halifax and Nationwide are the two biggest lenders in the UK. Rightmove only give you on asking price data, but similar again, they can see the movements in the market at much more current time. If you go to land registry, there's a lag of 3 to 6 months and sometimes even longer with land registry. But Halifax in February, Halifax said prices actually rose 1.2% and they've edged up another 0.8% in March. Measured over a 1 year, they are now 1.6% higher. So this, I must admit, this surprised me because the market has been declining slowly. But why would the property market still be edging up, even though we've got all this cost of living, inflation, all these pressures on the market at the moment? So we go back to this article from the Express. They're saying housing shortage has come to the rescue. We are not building enough properties for the booming population, with demand vastly exceeding supply. And that's what it is, a massive supply and demand deficit basically, which is really helping, it's keeping it propped up. Will that continue to prop up? I'm not sure. With interest rates being higher, it affects people's affordability. It will also affect people's confidence in the market. So a lot of people will be sitting there thinking, is the market going to get worse? So the sentiment for buying, it will definitely affect. But at the moment, it's holding strong, and that deficit is really the thing that's propping that up. So what do you do next? What do you need to do next? As I said, you want to be thinking about buying. We buy in all markets, so you need to buy the right style property. It's not about where you are in the market, it's about what style properties you buy in the market. If you buy a single let, buy to let in London, that's not going to work. It's not worked for the last probably 10 years, let alone when we've got recessionary pressures against us, high interest rates. But if you buy them in the northeast, like I do this remotely, these properties are still working. We just picked up the keys to a property for £72,000 that's rented for £675. Can't remember the exact mortgage on that, but it's around $250 a month. So there's plenty of margin in that, and that's at a 5% interest rate. We've stress tested this all the way up to like 8 and 9%, and it still makes profit. Obviously, the profit's diminished, but it still makes profit, and that's better that making profit than it's sat in the bank and being eroded by inflation. Because that's one thing for sure, your money's sat in the bank at the moment. So this property probably cost about 25, 30k. I can't remember the exact numbers on that. But say you needed 30k, your money at the moment is losing 10% per year on that. Will that stay at 10% for a long duration? No, of course, inflation is planned to come down, but it's not budging at the moment. It stayed high. The other thing I feel comfortable about buying these single let properties, you get families in there, long-term tenants, which are struggling at the moment. So it's a lower end. It's not at the higher end in my area. It's not at the bottom end in my area, but it's at that lower end. So it gives you a lot of downside protection because people need homes with less rental properties on the market. And also because it's at a lower end, I don't believe there's a big fall on these properties. And even if there is, we bought this particular property with a discount in it. It was worth £84,000 in the condition we bought it in for £72,000. We done a light refurb to it, and it was then worth £95,000. So we've got margin in there to absorb that. We've got margin in the rates going up to absorb that on our profits. And there's really prime the North with the Paris of the North deal, with leveling up agenda, with people working online now, the infrastructure's shifting. So it's really got lots of potential in the future when we get out of this uncertain times for capital growth. The fastest way you'll build a portfolio remotely in the North is by becoming a deal source or a side hustle deal source. So if you want to understand how to do that and the best strategies for that, make sure you watch this video up here or somewhere, I can't remember where it is. And if you want to join me on a free online workshop, the link will be in below, how we teach people how to source deals, build their portfolio off the back of the earnings from the sourcing, all remotely or in an area. If you already live in an area that works, the best and easiest deals to source at the moment are these low value ones because there's less risk. People have got the capital for these deals. So make sure you click the link in the bio. It's bit.ly/invest remotely. And listen, my wife's living my terms. My mission is to help as many people live on their terms using property investment as a vehicle to do that. So please help me out with that by liking it, subscribing if you haven't already. Please share this to somebody who found it important. Please give me in the comments, let me know where you think the market's at. Are you still buying at the moment? And remember, if you don't evolve your ideas, you never live on your own terms. So evolve your ideas, live on your own terms, and have an amazing day.